Hi, it's me again. I'm gonna do another video for you guys and just show you some things on Moodle and our website and the class schedule. Yes, we had a good day on Friday looking at a lot of different stories, and I appreciated your writing on those. Here we are in Moodle. So the updated class schedule, I'm going to open that. And I'm going to keep scrolling down here while that opens. We still have some forums free writes going. I'm going to talk about these in just a minute, but they are here, forums free writes and crowdsourced materials. I actually put our crowdsource for this one in this toggle. I can duplicate it and put it in both places if that's helpful. But this is the material that we worked with this past week, and I loved what you did and what you thought about that. Here is where we're going for next week, and I will show you how all that's linked here and where to find that on Moodle and in our class schedule, that Google document. Tomorrow during class time, I want to invite you to join me live with a Google Hangout. We can do that pretty easily if you go to your email. Because I've already started a Google Hangout with you guys, you should have access to it right there. Like mine are all, if I can get it straight here, all my Hangouts are right here in this section of my Gmail. Ours is right here, Humanities 124.003. If you click on that, you get the conversations that we've been having, and I usually send you a message when I'm on. And I've been using this to communicate as well as remind and email, of course. So if you click this right here, it will take you to the screen where you can join everybody on a video chat. That's how I'm going to do it. I'll also see if I can't send you a link to this prior to the video call. And yes, if you can't get on for whatever reason and you're having trouble, just log into this little chat here and send a message, and we'll figure it out during class time. So those of you who can do this, join me. I'd like to see you. I'd like to hear what you're thinking and how it's going, and see if you have any questions, and also get your feedback on what's working and what's not. I've tried a lot of different ways for us to crowdsource and communicate with each other and participate in discussions. So yes, let me know what you think is working well and what you prefer in terms of how we are interfacing with each other. It was really wonderful to see many of you on that call with Saki Mafundikwa when he shared his work, and I was so impressed and proud of you with your questions and your engagement with that. You have a forum on Moodle that you can still participate in and tell us what you thought about all that. Okay, so off of email now. Let's go to the class schedule. All right. So one thing I want to point out, I added a section here for your questions and comments, concerns. You can type them right into that. I also added a section with some due dates here. Again, these can be adapted as the semester develops, but just so you can plan, I did kind of want to give you some clear, concrete due dates as well. So as we work through our material, I'm linking them to this. You can see I put you in groups to discuss the stories that we discussed on Friday. I want you to read as much as you can. Ideally, you read all of these short ones, and then you write about the ones that I've assigned to you, either in communication with a small group or on your own. What we did with this was we used a Google Doc, and this is linked right here. I also sent you a link. So I just want to log into that and show you what that looks like. Many of you already know because you have put your input in there, and it's wonderful. So I've used the Google Doc, and I kind of want to see how you felt about how that worked. We have been using forums. Forums and Google Docs are ways for us to be on our own time, but still be in communication with each other, to add our comments as we can and read each other's work and comment to each other specifically and directly. And I like the way that you did this. So with this, we've got, I commented on stuff too about the insights that I see you having. You guys reference each other in your post as well on this, and so I really like the way you were going about that. So that's that, and we can continue to use that if you feel like it works pretty well for when we're talking about a number of texts at the same time. So here is a link for the live hangout as well. Here's where we are on Monday. We're going to talk about who we are and how we relate to each other. There are some video modules for that. We're going to concentrate on that area of the Mesopotamia, but a few hundred years after, or actually several hundred years after Gilgamesh was there, during the Second Temple Judaism, and then the subsequent Roman Empire and the rise of Christianity. So you get great background information on that, and this link will take you actually to our website where I have those pages and those video modules linked right there. I'll come back to that. Oh, that's still broken. Okay, I need to fix that. Good to know. Yes. So here on our website, it is the videos that are linked under humanities, and we're looking at communities and politics. There's some great video modules on Persia and the Peloponnesian Wars, Greek and Persia. I'm not going to assign those, but if you're interested, please watch them because it relates. It's the same area as what we're looking at with Second Temple Judaism, Imperial Rome, and the rise of Christianity. So it's those three that are our concentration for this coming class. And again, with these things, it's sort of, I'm not asking you to prepare before class. I feel like your structure will be better preserved if you have what you want to do for the class day. We'll check in the morning and see what questions there are, but then you have the day to look at this and then reflect in a forum, and we'll discuss this when we're together as well. But I'll ask you to write a little bit about, or record your voice, about texts that you feel define who we are, and that we can be different things, but what are some texts that tell you who you are, that give us a cultural identity, that maybe give us as even a nation state an identity, that give you an identity outside of our nation state, any kind of cultural group you belong to. Think about the texts, written ones of course, but also ones that are not in alphabet. So images, documentaries, movies, visual text, audio text that define who you are, who we are as a people. And as we think about those, that'll help us then have the lens through which to look at those texts that did that for ancient cultures as well. Okay. Speaking of identity and the ancient world and who we are, I am seeing a lot of connections with some of the things that we're studying and what we are encountering now with the coronavirus and what is happening and how people are reacting to it. We're getting ready to look at, well, we've looked at storytelling, and that, of course, has lots of connections to the way people are telling the story of what they're living right now. We also want to think about how we're going to tell this story down the road, although that's impossible to predict. Rhetoric is the other thing. Rhetoric and politics are the two lenses we're going to put on the ancient world coming up here in the next couple weeks. And that also has a lot of bearing on what we are working with and experiencing now as well. So as you see those connections and as you live through this time as gracefully as you can, I wanted to invite you to have a forum here in which to share your own perception and your own understanding of what's going on. I feel like stories are powerful. Communication is powerful. The ways we tell our story, whether that's in words or in pictures or in music, is really important and has a lot of not just potential power, but also potential healing power, potential medicine, I think, for this time. So I've made a forum, and this is not required, but if you do participate in it, it will count towards attendance and participation and all that. All the forums count towards that, and you get to choose where you want to put your energy. I just want to know what you think, and I want us to be able to share that together. So I've called it Virus Diaries, and I want to invite you to share your stories and reflections, your poetry and prayers, your songs and shouts about these days of social distancing and uncertainty. And anything goes. Again, feel free to upload recordings, videos, art, music, and then let me know if I have permission to take some of what you share here and post it in a larger forum like our website. And let's just see what develops with this, what kind of story together we are telling about this, and maybe how it compares to what we are looking at in the ancient world. One thing that really occurs to me is that what we're dealing with the work that we have from the ancient world, it's primarily the voice of power and privilege. The people whose stories survive are the people who had the privilege to, one, get their stories into a format that it was carried over into Western civilization and scholarship. And two, the people who had a voice in their societies. So we see that we don't often hear from the poor. We don't often hear from women. We don't hear from the people who were most of the people during that time, and this time too, the people who lived on the margins. We have the ability to hear those voices today to a greater extent, if not perfect, if not absolutely inclusive, but we have the ability to have our voices also speak for those people in our communities as well. So let's just take this as an invitation and see what develops. I will also participate in this and share my own rambling and questions and thoughts with you here in this forum, Virus Diaries. Okay, back to our current study. I sent you a web page, and this kind of relates to this too. As you know, I've been studying the indigenous cultural expressions of Abya, which are not totally, but the Maya that we study in this class are part of that discussion. So I made a web page that gave you some links and some resources on our class web page. It's called Resistance: Indigenous Stories in Real Time, and I've written and given you some art to look at. And all of this is potentially something you can use for your own cultural reflections. And you can follow leads on this and write on it for credit for that as well. I wanted to include a Cherokee storyteller. I wanted to include a poet, a Cherokee poet who is writing right now in contemporary. And a lot of this is a way to say these cultures are not dead and gone. They are alive despite the odds in a lot of ways, and it could be that they have something to tell us. So peruse this webpage, read what I've written, and see what kind of connections you can make to yourself and to our study of the ancient world. I'm kind of using some of what this time online and the uncertainty affords us to be creative with this material and share with you some of my own thoughts about why this matters, why looking at the ancient world matters, and how it really does relate to some of the things that we are working with today. So there's a lot here. Spend some time with it. There's a lot of fascinating, beautiful artists and art and their work to know. And at the end, I've given you an excuse to have a dance party. So check that out and tell me what you think. I've enabled this page to take comments, and Colin and Eddie have given me some. That's wonderful. Okay, so I look forward to hearing what you think now. I mean, it's kind of what's keeping me sane and alive is my ability to connect with you and talk about things academically and also your thoughts and how they might connect with the world that we live in. Okay, I do have a list, even though it sounds like I'm completely winging it. Yeah, so just a quick review. You have this web page to look at. You've got video modules that you will look at on Monday during whenever you do the work for this class. Anybody who can, I would love for you to see you and to connect with me on the Google Hangout right here. I don't know what it looks like for you, but look for a little hangout that has a lot of people that says Humanities 124. If you can't find that, send me an email and I'll make sure I send you a dedicated invitation to that hangout. And I will send a message, which I think pops it up on your screen if I've added you to that group as well. I'll be at my computer all morning. Cormac is also with me, so he may make an appearance, but I'll be there at 11 a.m. to check in with whoever can check in with me. Again, the class schedule and Moodle are your go-to documents for what you want to do during the class time for each day. And I will be sending you these links as well. Let me know how you find the forums compared to the Google Doc, and if you like the way I've used forums for some things and Google Docs for other things. I will be posting this video as well, and in fact, if you're watching it now, I've probably already sent you all these links, so feel free to follow along with all that. And then here is the forum, and you can still contribute to any and all of these opportunities to dialogue with one another on this page. Okay, I know I'm forgetting something, so I look forward to what your questions are, and I wish you all the very best, and I hope that you have seen some beauty this weekend and felt the sunlight and taken some deep breaths. So anyway, I look forward to more. Stay tuned, and I'll talk to you again soon.